So, Future Diary is a 10 out of 10. I don't care what anybody said. Wait, what about those last 5 episodes? Shh, look, we can pretend those never happened, bro. Chill. Anyway, I needed something new to watch, like everybody watching this video. And I'm sitting on the couch like, shoot, let's rewatch One Piece. 1,138 episodes now? Yeah, let's not. I haven't watched a shorter anime in a hot minute, so F it. We finna watch this. I asked one of my friends about Future Diary, and they said, it's a little strange, but decent. Give it a shot. And strange can mean a lot of things, but he didn't tell me it meant this. Yeah.
何のつもりだ、葛西さん。だけど、私を見殺しにしたら、ユッキーはお前をどう思うのかしら。
Yeah, this bitch Yuno is kind of crazy. Now, as of recording this video, I've just finished the show literally last night, so I have a lot to say. So this is probably my only chance to say, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1K and you could help me. We'll be waiting on you, gang. I may even be outside your window right now. So, Future Diary starts simple. We have our main character, Yumi, and he gets the power to see into the future through his phone. As even though it's a future diary, anything could be a diary as long as you can read text on it. And he basically uses it to pass tests, avoid bullies, really simple stuff. But this was pretty much very short-lived because he finds out him and 12 other users also have diaries. And they pretty much have to kill each other. So now he's in a death game. And the last man standing gets to become the new god of the new world. And if they don't kill each other fast enough, the world will end as the current time god Deus is starting to lose power as he's getting sick. So I guess even gods can't live forever. Ain't that right, Kratos? Also, I want to note that these so-called future diaries are not made the same. The main character basically gives him a rundown of what's going on from a day to day and what could happen to him so he can escape his fate. Whereas other ones are way more situational, like only updating about the future if you need to escape or run away, which I guess is useful for being in a death game where people are trying to kill you. But bruh, this shit is low-key ass. It's really only decent for criminals and convicts. And after we find out about this juicy plot of the anime, we also meet a girl named Yuno, who I will be talking about a lot. And her diary legit doesn't even help her at all. But what it does do is help her stalk Yuki, the man that she has a crush on. So huge of a crush, mind you, that she stalks this man, fights basically all his battles throughout the show, tries to kill his mom because she showed him a little too much affection, and basically tries to go and kill the only friends that Yumi has, just because she saw them as competition and a nuisance. And many other things. I mean, literally, if you just say some of the worst horrendous acts a person can do, Yuno has probably committed it. And I mean, they're meant for each other, am I right? What? Yuno was really this anime's main drive because every time she did something, I would somehow still be surprised. I think the anime did really well flipping perspectives to really keep you on your toes, and just to really see how fucked up different characters look when you don't know the whole thought process behind what they're doing. One of the craziest parts was when this detective was actually working with the MCs at first, and his diary lets him tell the future based on a case, which coincides with him being a detective. And at first he really just seems like a good stand-up guy, until literally a couple episodes down the road, he tries to kill the MC. And I'm not gonna lie, I would too. This nigga Yuki and Yuno are low-key evil. Just because they're the main characters does not mean they're sweet. It's just the fact he had a bunch of his officers killed just because he needed them to become criminals so his diary could read their movements, which sets them up to become fugitives, so they're on the run. And when they end up coming out of hiding, they end up going to a hospital where the detective's son is being held because he has a bad heart disease. And when shit hits the fan and his son is in danger, do you know what this man says?
I will kill your son, you stupid bastard!
He's as good as dead whether you're the one to do it or not. His only hope is for me to win this fucking game.
Like, what do you mean? It's shit like this that makes this anime insane, but I low-key loved it for that. It really kept me on my toes the whole time and made me keep watching. Low-key gave me that Attack on Titan despair vibe, where you're constantly asking, why am I even watching this anime? But deep down, you know you love it. My favorite character had to be Ninth. Her introduction pretty much solidified the main message that the show was trying to convey, and I'm guessing that message was probably even crazy bitches have backstories. She's in some maid outfit and basically blows up half of Yuki's school just to kill him. They end up stopping her, but she has an escape diary and manages to get away. Then in the next segment, she runs into this weird dude who pretty much takes her eyeball and locks her up. This dude kind of freaky. This gives Ninth her iconic eye patch, and from here forward, she starts helping Yuki. Not like in a traditional kind of way, but just having the plot, kind of just having her randomly save him at different points. Like when she saved him from poison gas, had this man doing push-ups because he's weak, or in the latter half of the show, literally killing herself so Yuki could get the opportunity to kill 11th. And this all pretty much just ties into her backstory because the only person she really felt bad for was Yuki, since it reminded her of herself. Because later in the show, he ends up losing both of his parents, something that Ninth went through. And her backstory was just really sad overall. Like, all she knew was war her whole life. Like, bro, this is her town. Where was she living? The Middle East? And it's crazy with her nuking people and pretty much being a literal terrorist. By the end of the show, she really seems the most normal out of all the cast. And not only did I like her as a character, I liked her story overall probably more than the main characters. She had this whole love story going on with this detective named Nijima, who pretty much starts running the detective agency after this dude just went haywire. But their love was unfortunately cut short after he legit got blicked. I was so sad, bro. I'm like, no, bro, why? This show consists of constant death, but honestly, if you're watching the show, you just got to get used to it, because death is really just part of the show. And the last thing I'll say about Ninth is, I really liked her voice actor in the English dub, too. It was pretty good. But now, it's time for me to really go in on these two main characters. And why, unfortunately, Future Diary is not a 10 out of 10. It would have been. Episode 1 through episode, 21 was decent, but then it just went haywire. So I'll say the show was good all the way up until Ninth's death. After that, I was kind of like, okay, now I see why people are calling this anime kind of strange. And to address these problems, I'm actually going to start at the start of the show. Yuki's a very timid boy. He doesn't have friends, and he's pretty much really frail, and definitely wasn't cut to kill anyone. Yuno is pretty much the polar opposite, being ready to kill anyone at any inconvenience, especially if it was for Yuki. And this man, Yuki, legit doesn't get better, bro. Like, not even in the hype parts of the story. He's always crying for help or trying to find a way out that helps everyone. But in the end, making these types of decisions ends up going with whatever Yuno wants, when she's downright insane. So to sum it up, bro just has no backbone. And it's not even like he doesn't know that Yuno's insane. He knows this more than anybody, even more than Yuno herself. He knows that she wanted to kill his mom and the fact that she was stalking him. And most importantly, she's a literal murderer, even outside of the game, as he goes to her house and sees dead corpses at her house. And small side note, those two corpses were her mom and dad. She locked them up in a cage and just let them sit there to starve to death. Granted, we do see flashbacks of whenever her parents mistreated her as well, and they also locked her up in a cage, but I feel like that's still not justification to do the same thing back to them and then actually kill them. She should have just ran away, or maybe whooped their ass, you know, nothing's wrong with a good ass whooping, but instead she literally killed them. But back to Yuki, when he sees the dead corpses at her house, yes, he does try to run away, but he can't escape her. And not just because she has a diary that can find him at all times, but because he's so trash, he has to rely on her the whole series. And when she finally does leave him alone, he ends up having to call her back so he doesn't die. Like, when I say Yuno did all the heavy lifting for this dude, she literally did all of it. And while watching this, I really was just disappointed in bro, but it gets even worse, especially when he gets actual friends. A highly skilled detective named Aru, a girl named Hinuta who actually has a real crush on Yuki and not a stalkery weird one, Kosuke, and Nonodaka. I cannot say this man's name. They all tried to kill each other at one point, but who does it in this anime? They're all friends now. And they're not diary users, so Yuki doesn't have to worry about them killing him. Well, one day, we find out Yuki has gone missing. And from Yuki's perspective, all we know is that they were going out of town to go stargaze. They being Yuki and Yuno. But from Aru's perspective, we see that he's been gone for days. And after snooping around, we found out Yuki is trapped in an underground hotel, and Yuno drugged him to put him there. They barely are able to save this man. And somehow, even after this, he still relies on her after being beaten and drugged. That is actually insane. Not to mention, she is also a diary user, so she would have been top on my op list after this. I would have had to slime her out, because prior, she had done crazy things, but I could still see for Yuki's sake why he would still want her around. The story really emphasized how much of a learner he was, and even though Yuno was crazy and a murderer, she was always there for Yuki, protecting him at any inconvenience, and is probably the only consistent thing in his life. So okay, I get it. But after this, nah bro, this is OD. I lost so much respect for this man, because now she's even a threat to you, so I don't understand why he didn't snap out of it here. This felt out of line even for his character, especially when you can't even defend him by saying he doesn't have friends anymore. They're literally right in front of you. And guess what happens next? I'll wait. All right. He kills them. Everyone I just mentioned. He killed them. For who? For Yuno, bro. Oh my mama, y'all got me fucked up. Later in the story, Yuki ends up losing his parents. His dad ended up murdering his mom, rip. And then his dad just randomly gets murdered by some dude, like just randomly. He deserved it, but it was just low-key random how his dad died. So Yuki he's a little different now. Seeing his parents die kind of turned him up. He still has no backbone, but he's just a little bit more, you know, like on edge. So they take down like the big bad kind of near the end of the game. That being 11th, a dude that has a diary that can peep into other people's diaries, so it's low-key a cheat code. And this is where I was talking about earlier, the arc where 9th dies. And the anime is endgame now, only leaving Yuki, Yuno, and this one big-headed lady that really wasn't a threat. The world's starting to fall apart because the time god is legit finna die, so they need to hurry up and kill each other. Come to find out, Yuki's friend Aru was created by Deus to inspect Yuno because she seemed off. And he wasn't trusting his servant Murmur anymore. And throughout the show, this man Aru was constantly trying to warn Yuki about Yuno. But of course he didn't listen. And long story short, we find out that Yuno was dead the whole time. And the Yuno we knew the entire series was a fake. How, you may ask? We finna get into this. So Aru was finally ready to kill Yuno. And Aru really the whole series is kind of like Yuno's top op, because he's been snooping into her and she really didn't like that. And I'm surprised she didn't kill him sooner. He pins her down and Yuno stabs herself because she knows by this point Yuki will believe anything that she said because Yuki is whipped and he didn't even get no cat yet. And she proves this by literally calling him and saying that Aru stabbed her, which is a lie, even though he was going to. And while Hinata is trying to explain to him what Yuno is, he's freaking out as she's literally on the phone with him, making him distressed. And he basically goes on a rampage, shooting her and then all the rest of his friends. And somehow Yuno got there even after stabbing herself like nothing even happened, and ends up killing Aru in front of Yuki. But not before Aru shows Yuki the truth, while headless, which is kind of crazy. Bro said, I'm gonna give this nigga the truth by any means. Later, Yuki tells Yuno they're the last ones left, and basically, they agree to die with each other, and legit just wait until the world ends, which is crazy. But while they're sleeping together, Yuki ruins it by stating what Aru said in his diary. And lock in, because here's where it gets kind of crazy. It was that the Yuno next to him was actually the first Yuno from the first timeline. And she already won the game and came back to another timeline, this one being the second one, and that she killed the other Yuno from this timeline in order to fill in for her place to try to get her happy ending with Yuki, since you can't actually bring anybody back to life once you become the time god. But what you can do is go and fuck up other timelines, which is what Yuno wanted to do since she's crazy. And the even more crazy part is she decides, alright, I'm gonna kill this Yuki now, so I can go to the third timeline and try again. Try to have my happy ending in peace, which would mean her literally going to another timeline, killing everybody again like she did this whole timeline, and not only that, killing herself again. That is a different level of psycho, bruh. Going to another timeline to murder yourself, that is OD. And this is where the anime just takes a turn for the worst. I was honestly okay and enjoying it up until this point, because not only are we dealing with different timelines and insane plot points in the last 3 to 4 episodes, look at this shit, bro. These niggas literally have powers. This is not the same show. I love seeing 9th come back as part god or something. It did give me a small smile, but like at the same time, what is this? But basically, they're in the third timeline and Yuki manages to save the Yuno there from being killed by herself again. And the Yuno we knew the whole series decides to finally kill herself, making Yuki the winner of timeline 2, where most of the story takes place. And then at the end, it's rolling the credits and it's basically showing the events of timeline 3. And this is basically the good timeline where everybody got what they wanted. Literally everybody except for Yuno. Except this Yuno isn't a psychopathic murderer and actually has both of her parents. It's kind of funny how that works. And thank God there's a timeline where Yuki doesn't know that Yuno exists. I can actually sleep at night. But then we also see the Yuki from timeline 2 literally just sitting in a void of nothingness for 10,000 years because Yuno died. For 10,000 years. He ain't even mourning his mom and dad, bro, but you mourning a girl that possessed you to kill damn near everybody? Are we serious? This part of the show wasn't confusing like most people say. I was actually able to follow it pretty well. But one thing I will say is this just wasn't needed. I wish they kept all the powers and stuff to Deus and it ended the way it was intended. In the early parts, I really liked how crazy, but real it seemed for the most part, up until this point. And I was actually considering making a video defending it, because like I said, I was really enjoying it. But the latter half definitely could have been dealt with a little better. But I still don't think this show should get bashed as much as it does. I'm still giving it really a 9 out of 10. It's a really good show and I feel like more people should go and experience it. I definitely want to shout out Yuno because while crazy, she's a unique kind of crazy. I think a show centered around a crazy girl the whole entire time struck different fears in me that I didn't know that I had. I was really just as stressed out as Yuki most of the time, but it was also very thrilling at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it. Just gave me a different feeling. And I can only applaud this anime's creativity. Now, apparently, you can't watch the true ending on Crunchyroll. And I ain't even watch it, but I did read about it. And I'm going to give this information to y'all. Basically, all you need to know is the Yuno from Timeline 1 that died so Yuki from Timeline 2 could become the king, got her memories implanted in the Timeline 3 Yuno. And how this happened is the murmur that we knew from the whole show was actually Yuno's murmur. Because remember, the whole entire time it was actually Yuno that was the god. So she was acting like she was Deus's murmur, but she wasn't the whole time. She was really Yuno's murmur, or Yuno's servant. So she has all of the memories of the Yuno from Timeline 1 that died, that the Yuki from Timeline 2 loves so much. So what she does, she takes Yuno's memories from Timeline 1 and implants them in the Yuno from Timeline 3's. Since, you know, the Yuno from Timeline 3 is pretty much living a normal life now. So it really wasn't hurting anything. And once she gets all her memories back, she goes to Deus since he's still alive in Timeline 3 and basically says, yo, let me go see my Yuki from Timeline 2, the Yuki I love so much. And pretty much Yuki and her become king and queen of that universe. And they're able to rule together and finally live together for eternity. Which is wholesome, I guess. But in reality, they were both just crazy as hell. But I'm not mad at it since a timeline exists where everybody was happy, so who cares? But as mentioned before, I actually really like this anime and I feel like more people should check it out. A lot of people call it a bad anime or a crazy anime, but I feel like that was literally the purpose. I definitely don't think these were characters we were meant to like relate to or anything. I feel like if you 100% relate to a character from this show, you might actually be a problem. This anime gave me a unique experience and I mess with it. It's up there, top 10, top 15-ish. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Peace.